accountability, which is great, you know. Again, we want to see that results are being produced using federal funds. On page 12 here, you see that in 2011, there was a new strategy for excellence that came along, okay? And so these key elements were an emphasis on place-based services to address the causes and impacts of poverty, increased accountability for performance, and the promotion of evidence-based practices to achieve results. We want to know that what we're doing is based off of something that is solid and proven to be helpful as we implement the programs, the strategies, the services that we're going to provide. Cool? So we have these inserts that I provided. They're stapled together. It starts off, yep, so it's a two-sided copy there. We're just going to kind of go over these pretty quickly because we'll introduce this as the day goes on. So as part of GEPRA, which is, again, that the Modernization Act of 2010, there is performance management on how to enhance Roma. So we got some additional ideas there on different ways that we could enhance Roma to support families and improve communities. It also helped us establish some new organizational standards for entities, and it recognized that while we'll have some national organizational standards, we also need to make sure that we have some local organizational standards, and that's really a critical point with this. In 2005, we had continued to have a conversation about agency performance and agency capacity, and with this, those standards further solidified. So we have this timeline fully spelled out, and as you have an opportunity to review it, it's helpful. We also have a lot of information about what happened with this and led to the theory of change, which we see over on the wall here. And you can get onto the CAP website and review the information on the CAP website so that you know, you have some additional knowledge. They've got a 30-minute PowerPoint there that might be interesting for folks. Ultimately, the big thing here is that we've changed the way that we report our outcomes. Now we have an online version, and so instead of that paper chasing and getting all of the data for us to be able to produce our annual report, we get to go online, we get to plug in the information. These are nationalized indicators. They don't tell the whole story of what community action does, but it gives us, again, that universal language. We also have the opportunity to include some additional accomplishments that we, as a local agency, have made. So the theory of change is pretty great. Again, we've moved away from this idea of having the 6 national goals. We've replaced it with the theory of change, which has 3 goals. You'll see here that we no longer have an agency level goal. And the reason that we don't is because it was recognized that really the agency level goals should be woven into everything that we do. It's about capacity, it's about effective organization, it's about performance management. So all of those same principles are integrated within these new goals as they stand. Okay? Remember at the beginning of this module on page 1, we had learning objectives. We're just going to review some of the key points. You guys don't have this in your manual, so if it's helpful just to have a place to land your eyes, you can go back to page 1. Otherwise, you're going to listen to me talk a little bit more, okay? So Roma is a set of principles and practices that came from a rich history, okay? We established our purpose in 1964, hasn't changed. Lots of names have changed, lots of new acronyms, new IMs, new, you know, different things, but those core set of principles hasn't changed. We have annual reporting based off of those national performance indicators, and the framework for achieving outcomes is that full range of management and accountability efforts, and so that's what the Roma cycle brings together for us. And there's a renewed focus really on performance measurement and management. Cool? Okay, we're going to jump right into module number 2 just because we want the day to continue to move forward. So we do have coffee in the back of the room if anybody's interested. Also, we're all grown-ups here. If you need to go to the bathroom, it's down the hallway. Feel free to do it. It's past the food court. We're going to have a couple of breaks, but they're going to be kind of limited. We have people who have traveled today, so we want to make sure that people have adequate travel time to get home, especially given the winter weather advisory and the ice on the road. So just for Sarah's safety, we want to make sure that we are traveling during daylight hours. It's Montana in the winter. Cool. So let's move to module number 2, okay? And this is on page 13. Could I get a volunteer to read the first 2 learning objectives?
I'll be happy to. If my arms are long enough. Participants are introduced to Peter Drucker's management framework as a support for Roma principles and practices. Participants will be able to understand the purpose of a mission statement and identify its elements.
Sweet, thank you so much. So with this module, we've got 2 different components we're going to cover. We break it up into 2 different sections. One of them is going to be mission and the other one's going to be assessment. So we'll start off with the mission piece, and this is what gives us the building blocks. We understand how we came to be where we are, what those mandates are, and now we're going to start to build from that. So let's go right now over to page number 14. Okay. So again, Roma is defined as a form of management that incorporates the use of outcomes or results into the administration, management, and operation of what we're doing. It's a conceptual framework that establishes that each agency gets to establish how we're going to do it, how we use it on our local level, but we have to continue to have that standardized language as we move forward. So this module is going to introduce us to the idea of performance management, which has been around for a long time. We picked Peter Drucker as the network to be the person, the management guru that we refer to because of his rich history with working with the nonprofit sector. So if we look at page 14, we'll remember our goals are getting people to become self-sufficient. Our goals are mobilizing and leveraging the resources within our community and also bringing greater institutional sensitivity to poverty. If we move down to that first Peter Drucker quote, if somebody could please read that, that would be great.
The agency mission is considered a description of the agency purpose. That one?
Yep, that's perfect. Yep.
It's the foundation statement upon which agency builds. It says why the agency's in business.
Okay, awesome. So that's what the mission is. So Peter Drucker asks a number of questions for us. Anybody who wants to borrow this is welcome to. These are the 5 most important questions that your agency is going to ask, and it's really kind of cool stuff. It talks a lot about different models that have worked in different areas and different arenas. It brings it all together, and it's something that we're going to weave in throughout our day. So we see here that his first question is, what is our mission? So we've already heard that it says what we do and why we're in business, okay? But what we have to also remember is that each social sector institution exists to make a distinctive difference. So that's why we're here. We want to make a difference in the lives of the individuals in society. Making a difference is our mission. That's what we're here to do. It's the organization's purpose, our very reason for being. I mean, that's why we're all here. This is why community action exists, is because we want to make a difference in somebody's life. We want to make a difference in the communities in which we live. Okay? So it has to be something that it can't be impersonal, it has to be something that you believe in, something that you know is right. Cool? Okay. So it really sets the stage, this first question here from Peter Drucker. It really sets the stage of what the importance is for our mission. I've copied a copy of Community Action's mission. We're not going to analyze that today because it's not something that we need to jump into, but it's something that everybody should know where it exists and what's important with it. So we'll move forward with page number 15 here. And so what we want is to make sure, actually I'm sorry, it's at the bottom of page number 14, where we see that there are 4 different elements that need to be a part of each mission statement. So the population needs to be a part of the mission statement. Who is going to be served? Okay, we also have to know what type of services we're going to have. Further, we have to know what our expected outcomes are, or what we're hoping to achieve, as well as relationships with other organizations. Because again, so much of what we do is based off of our collaboration with other agencies within our communities and the places that we serve. Okay? So on page 15, we'll see here that we're gonna make a little bit of a transition. You know, Drucker says, yeah, we have to have these 4 elements in all of our mission statements, but we're part of that CSBG legislation. So it mandates that we also include in there something that references the mission that we have, specifically targeting folks who are low income and the relationships that we have. So we have some mandates for what our mission statement's gonna look like, because that's a critical piece of receiving that CSBG allocation and being part of that CSBG recipient. So we follow what Drucker says with those 4 pieces. We also weave in a little bit of our own. So right now we're going to consider the effectiveness of mission statements to articulate community action goals. As you see on page 15 here, again, it outlines those 4 key elements that need to be within, within each of the mission statements. It needs to be a sound bite. It needs to have population, services, outcomes, and relationships. So as we know from Drucker, a general mission or business is to make, his idea of a mission is to make that difference in the lives of the people that we serve. So in the case of community action, again, we're making it a little bit different because of that legislation. We have our relationship that's in there, so you'll see that we have relationship integrated into the mission statement that shows the connections to other folks. So the mission statement, it just needs to be something that's short and sweet. It doesn't need to be a sound bite. It can't be a tagline, but it needs to be something that's concise and clearly articulated. Okay? Are we good? So if you turn to page 16, we're going to have an opportunity to start talking about some of the some mission statements and reviewing them. I took the time in the pink room in the basement to draw out some mission statements. I'm going to pull these over just so that hopefully they're in the camera's view. This is a mission statement. If you look at your handouts, so everybody pick up your handouts.
Hand out the handout, just the mission statement part.
Okay, so on the theory of change.
Oh, we have that.
These are
Okay.
all stapled together, okay? So you'll see the national theory of change, okay? And the next part is sample mission statements. Okay? So what we're gonna do here is look at this mission statement, and this mission statement that I wrote out is one that's located on your list, okay? It's the first mission statement, which is to advocate for, support, and train CSBG-funded agencies utilizing our collective strength to eradicate poverty, okay? We're gonna identify the different parts within this mission statement. Again, what we are looking for here is we are looking for services, we're looking for our population, our outcomes, and our relationship. When we look at number 1 of these sample mission statements, services is to advocate for, support, and train. Does that make sense? Our partnership, or our, I'm sorry, not our partnership, but our population is CSBG-funded agencies. Okay? And then our relationship is we're utilizing our collective strength, so that's, we're working in collaboration or collectively, and our outcome is to eradicate poverty. That make sense?
What was the CSBG fund?
CSBG-funded agencies
Oh, okay.
is, this right here is our population. So that's the group of people that we're working with.
Okay.
Not all mission statements are created equally, okay? A lot of them miss out on critical points. And in these samples, we'll actually see that there are a number of them that don't hit the mark, okay? So I've gone ahead and I recorded another one here. And so this is mission statement number 3, okay? And that is creating solutions to poverty, improving lives in our community. Sounds like a soundbite, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's missing some critical points. Does anybody want to talk about what elements are here?
Looks like service.
Service,
Yeah, creating solutions is our service.
Color coded, so.
Yeah, the color coding is for your benefit as well as mine. It's helpful, just to have, yeah, exactly. So we know that they're targeted outcome right now is going to be on improving lives.
But how do you measure improving lives?
And that's something that we, yep, exactly.
Right.
It can't be too vague. When it's too broad, we're
That's
not
pretty
able to-
broad.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's a really good point, okay? So with this, let's do one together.
Right, alleviate poverty is
Yeah.
measurable.
Right.
Improving lives is different for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my opinion
Feels good.
versus
Same with
yours.
strengthening communities.
Right.
So let's move to this next example here, which is, it's number 4, okay? So to eliminate the causes of poverty in partnership with county human services, service offices by strengthening low-income individuals, families, and communities through self-sufficiency initiatives in White County.
Whoa.
We're out of space right there.
Lots of
So,
prepositions.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so there's a lot to cover in this one. Does anyone want to tell me what our outcomes are?
To eliminate the causes of poverty.
Yeah, look at that. I'm not color coding in this one right now, but yeah. So anybody want to guess as to relationships?
Partnership?
Okay. And anybody want to tell me about the population?
Low-income individual families and communities.
Okay. You guys are really smart. And what then is the services?
Good question. Initiatives.
Self-sufficiency initiatives.
Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. So we have already covered as a group right now, number 1, number 3, and number 4. I'm gonna have you guys pair off. You guys are gonna be a pair, you two will go through. There's gonna be one group of 3 just because you guys are cool like that. I would like for you guys to look at number 2. Okay, I would like for you guys to look at number 5. Okay, you guys look at number 6. Okay, and then you guys to look at number 7. Okay? So we're gonna take just a couple minutes to get through this. We don't have a ton of time, but I want for you to really review the information and make sure that we're getting it.
That first part.
Oh, wait, what are we
Services
looking for?
distributed block.
That first part was a lot of the services.
Well, aren't we also
Well,
creating
no,
sound
for-
and public facilities?
So socially and economically disadvantaged children.
Seems like that's also some service.
So then the service for delivered to the child, it would be advocate or developmental and eating service. Would that be? They advocate for the community. That whole thing.
Is everybody doing okay?
We're just supposed to write these for
Correct. We're not rewriting them, we don't need to do that, we just need to look at, and we don't have to, even though we really want to be able to define some of the words, we just have to make sure it has those 4 key points.
So human service means
Self-inadequate
and
public
service
facilities.
delivery.
So the service is distributed block.
Yeah.
The outcome is to create some public facilities, utilities. and
Relationship.
It's hard to
I believe we have service and relationship.
It's relationship.
I don't see that. I mean, other than programs.
These are developed.
Okay, guys, let's take one more minute and finish up here.
I don't see population.
Yeah, some of these are just gonna be missing. Yeah, that's when we need our red
I'm the
pen.
closest one to population is
Well, I
that,
have
you know, the
huge markers
development
that-
of that.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
it's super
But they
big.
draw big,
It doesn't,
so
it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
break down.
they're not fine points.
You read this and go, okay, so how do you make a decision?
Are we ready to report out?
That's awesome.
Okay,
That's awesome.
okay, do you need another minute? That's okay. I knew, yeah, I know, I should have been
Yeah,
more
that part
intentional
is-
with the, yeah, with the people, yeah. Instead of a 3-person group, Sean's gonna work with you.
Sean's gonna work alone.
Maybe Lainey. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and report out on what we found. Which group would like to report out first? Okay, so Lainey, which number did you guys have?
We had number 5.
Okay,
Oh my God, this is like a nightmare. I did this years ago. What, what are the 4 things